Hello, my name is Amanda, and you're watching Random How To. Today, I wanted to share with you some of my junk journals, just a few details on how I make them and what I use to make them. So stick around. So the first junk journal I ever made, I actually made the outside cover out of an envelope like this, only a little bit larger. And I simply folded it in half and I painted it, and I used some homemade Mod Podge, which is just glue and water mixed together, to make it a little shiny. I used some tape here, as you can see on the side too, and it has held up really nice, and it also is more flimsy than a book cover, so it's easier to just toss around. But so when I made this junk journal, I made it to be my recipe book, because I had several just random books with recipes written in them, and I wanted it to have one that had all of it together. So I started this one, and as you can see, the pages that I've used were different, just junk mail, some envelopes, just scrap paper. There's these kinds of leaflet type junk mail things that I turned into a little leaflet like that. I cut out things from just different magazines and stuff, and had a little bit of color and pictures to add to each page. Or I used glitter pens, just anything really that I had. I painted some pages and then glued things on. I used this kind of colored paper for several pages to cover up pictures, different things for the recipes that I wrote in there. And just basically used whatever I already had. I did not buy anything to make this junk journal. I used old scrap papers that I had and magazines that I already had to cut things out of, and colored paper that I already had laying around to do that. So that's basically how I made this junk journal. Now, a lot of times people will glue or staple together their signatures, but the only thing I had on hand was yarn. So I literally have these signatures in here by simply yarn, and I just I taped, the yarns together here and here at the bottom, but there's no stapler, there's no glue for this this cookbook. It's just the yarn. And as you can see, even if I open it up, they're in there. It's just a little looser than it might have been. I think I did tape some of the yarn in the signatures. Let me see if I can. Yeah, like for example here, this is the very middle of a signature, so I taped it there. But other than that, I did not do anything else to keep this together. And that's what I love about these envelope outside pages. They seem to keep everything nice and tight together. So that is my first junk journal. I've recently been working on a new junk journal to start, and I had an old book, as you can see, that I cut the actual pages out of, and then I simply used fabric from an old shirt and taped it on here. So this will be the cover. Obviously it's pretty big. It'll hold quite a lot when I start putting the signatures together for it. But basically, if you're starting out and you have an old book of whatever size, all you need to do is simply cut the pages out, and then you can decorate the outside cover however you like. You can use all kinds of things. You can paint, you can use materials, old jeans, old t-shirts, anything like that. And this washi tape is really really good too for using to keep it in there. So that is an idea just for the outside layer of a junk journal. Now this next junk journal I actually made at a craft night at my library. They supplied the old books to use and a lot of the different things to decorate them with, and I'll show you inside. The only thing I supplied were the the different pages that I used inside to make the junk journal. But this one was different because I followed the traditional rules of junk journaling. So for this one, the inside I was able to cover up with some colorful pages and just different stickers and things. And they had a lot of very unique pages like this that I decided to use for my signature, the outside of my signature pages. And then I simply used old pages, different things that I had laying around at home for the inside pages. And I already started working on this junk journal, decorating it and stuff. But I'll show you some pages that I did not get to yet. Let's see here. Oh, also an idea you could do that I had come up with was I had so many different pictures and drawings from my child that I didn't know quite what to do with. I didn't want to get rid of them, but I didn't know how to use them. So I actually decided to use them in the junk journal so that I could keep the pictures and also use them to, you know, put pictures and different things like that. But for example, this is an outside signature page that I have, and the inside, as you'll see, is all blank, just different pages that I had to use from junk mail and different things like that. But I will be decorating those as well eventually. But just to give you an idea, you can use old notes, old paper, whatever you have laying around. Now for this junk journal, I did go ahead and staple each signature because the library had a very long stapler that we could use. And then I also went ahead and glued it to the inside here. Some of them didn't really stick, but that's okay because I still kept all the strings that I used to hold the book together. So just an example of what you could use in the junk journal. I mean, this is just junk mail here. Different things that open up like this, you could use in there. Just anything really. This is an actual little booklet. Different sized envelopes, and you know, some of them have these cool little inserts and whatnot. So I use old magazines. I cut things out of that. I actually had several scrapbook pages that I had done in a scrapbook and didn't finish, and I used that. Ton of stickers, just different things that you could use to make your junk journal. So that is basically how I make my junk journals, using different things. It's very simple. And there's a ton of videos on YouTube about junk journaling. So, but just to give people an idea, you really don't need the staples and all the different things like that. You can just use yarn or whatever you have laying around to hold the book together. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more videos.